What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 3 of our Gamescom wrap-up. I'm Daemon Hatfield. I'm joined by Brennan Tyrell, Andrew Goldfarb, of course, Max Scoville.
Hey.
This is our lead Mushroom Kingdom correspondent, Yoshi.
He's very tired.
Yeah.
Very, very tired.
He's had a long leaning against that table.
He's had a long week.
He's had a
Too many calls.
rough show.
Little buddy.
Yeah.
He's seen some things.
Yeah. True.
We've seen some things too.
He's just got the dead eyes right now.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop like just beating around the bush. Can we show the Spider-Man clip?
Oh my
yeah,
God.
so yeah, we got some games to talk about, but
I'm sorry.
something-
I am laughing about this, thinking about it. This might be the funniest thing that I've seen in my entire life.
we have something to show you.
So
Here
good.
at the show, we've captured probably the greatest cosplay battle of all time.
I'm sorry.
Let's just bring this up here. So we were looking at this Spider-Man cosplayer who's a pretty good Spider-Man cosplayer.
It's incredible. Fight.
And then, oh yeah. he's like no, not the crotch.
Awful middle school. Wait for it. There.
Behind the back. It's so good.
So who won? I mean, who do you think took it home?
Who wore it better?
More better.
I've seen that. I don't even know how many times, and I'm still like crying laughing at it.
That off camera Spider-Man.
Well, also just like the way it's shot, like Rory from our UK team filmed it, and it's like so funny because it like zooms back, and like they were comparing it to basically like watching an episode of The Office.
Yeah.
It's like that weird like that full zoom, and then you see both of them together.
Also, like for context, like that wasn't staged. Like they were filming Spider-Man for like some B-roll, and the cackle happened, and they were like,
The cackle's the
hell
best
is
part.
that? And it's just
good.
a different
really good.
type of costume.
Anyway, games. Yeah. We saw some cool games today. Star Fox Zero was on the show, actually. Nintendo showed us 2 new levels, which we can pull up footage here. I thought it was weird that this game is coming out this year, but they have not given it a release date.
Yeah,
That's pretty commonplace for Nintendo, though.
Yeah?
Like they'll release on like a Saturday or something.
Yeah, and they'll do like a direct, and they'll just
Yeah.
drop the release date in like 18 facts. So actually, okay, so at E3, Jose and I saw this, and I think one other level behind closed doors, and this thing with dialogue with Pigment at the beginning really weirded me out because there's a moment where they say something about pork, or basically they acknowledge that he's a pig, which I don't think has ever happened in the Star Fox universe, where they acknowledge that they're animals, and it like really tripped me up.
I said, okay, are you okay?
Yeah. It's like,
I had to go to therapy
is your
for
world been
months.
shattered?
So like I have no doubt that this will be a very fun game to play because Platinum, I don't think they've made a game that isn't enjoyable to control. I'm really not crazy about the aesthetic. Like I think that it doesn't do a good job of. I feel like this should have been like a Wind Waker type of situation where they just did something new with the aesthetic and just
Interesting.
like
I would say the exact opposite of that.
Really?
Love the aesthetic.
It's not that I love the aesthetic, but I really like it. Like as an evolution of Star Fox, I hate the controls. I think the controls with the gamepad are just. I mean,
oh
like,
yeah, no, that
it's one of those
forgot
things where
about that part, yeah.
I think you grow used to it as you play. Like I can see like after playing through like a few campaign missions, I would like adjust. But it's like at a trade show when you only have like a few minutes to pick that thing up. Like you either only look at the gamepad or you look at the screen and forget the gamepad's there, and like you have to use both. So it's like it's just a weird thing to get used to.
And that's the control scheme. You can't change it.
No,
You can't
there's,
do a
yeah,
more
at least as
traditional-
far as the build we played, there wasn't there was no way to like switch that off. And it was like that also means like the way I play my Wii U is mostly just with the gamepad. Like I'll play from like bed, a room over, or I'll just like sit on the couch and watch a TV show while I play on the gamepad. But this game requires both, so I think that's kind of interesting. But I don't know. I like Star Fox a lot though.
And you like the visuals.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're like incredible, but I mean, it doesn't bother me.
I mean, especially where we're at right now, where I mean, it's dumb to compare it to like obviously other things that are happening, but like it looks like a game that came out like a while ago, you know? I think really good art direction can kind of just like sidestep that.
Well, yeah, I thought Smash Brothers and Mario Kart 8 were both beautiful
totally,
games.
yeah.
And I wouldn't say that about.
and Mario
Thank
3D
you.
World.
Yeah, no. So I'm not alone on that. Yeah.
No, I agree with that. When they do the HD remake on NX, it'll look great.
Yeah, that's true. A game I saw today that I thought was really cool was Sword Coast Legends.
Yeah.
So this is a Dungeons and Dragons game that actually, that I know of, this is the first Dungeons and Dragons game that actually lets one of the players be the dungeon master.
Yeah.
So it's 4 players, and then there's a 5th player that's the dungeon master that's sort of affecting the world, making decisions, coming up with a story for the other players to experience. I thought that seemed really cool.
That's an awesome premise.
It's actually almost similar to what we talked about with Rainbow Six yesterday, with the like the spectator mode.
Well, but that's
except you have
that's
control.
spectator.
I'd say it's more akin to like Fable Legends.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, this asymmetrical multiplayer thing, I mean, we saw it kind of with Evolve. It's just like the idea that what if one person wasn't playing the same game as everyone else?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
How does it come out in Sword Coast Legends?
What do you mean?
Or like are they just basically sitting there waiting for people to go through the dungeon?
Yeah, so it's like it's not turn-based. It all happens in real time. So yeah, you can place things right in front of them, or you could sort of work ahead of them. You could be working on a room that's a few rooms ahead of them, or you can also build your dungeon offline. And so when they go in to play it, it's all done.
Upload it for other players.
Yeah.
As far as the player side goes, I mean, it looks incredibly similar to like Baldur's Gate or other ARPGs, right? And that's I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Is it as robust as that? Like
I don't think it's not quite as robust as Baldur's Gate or Divinity Original Sin.
Yeah.
That we saw.
Yeah, it looks a little bit arcadey here, which is okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well.
But
I
yeah,
mean, it's that kind of like the gauntlet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the red squares are traps that you can place. So, and if you grief the players too much, then they'll give you a bad rating as a dungeon master. And then no one will want to play your dungeons.
There's a social aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They'll leave
that's
bad
smart.
Yelp reviews on your dungeon. Don't ever go here. The service was terrible. It was spooky.
Spiders everywhere.
So this is coming out on PC next month, and I asked them if they thought this game would work well on console, and they said, well, we'll find out later this year when it comes out on console. So this game is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. Also.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always wish that like when we asked like a sort of maybe we weren't prepared question like that, if the devs would just help us out and put on sunglasses while they gave us the really obvious answer. Like that would be great.
That would be really good. Yeah. So those are probably the coolest games that I saw today. But what about the entire show? We've seen a lot of games here at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. What do we think are our favorites? Let's see. I think in terms of the order of the B-roll that we've set aside, I think I have to go first.
This casually unscripted, off-the-cuff show.
Yeah. What was your favorite game?
I think my favorite game that I saw and played was Rise of the Tomb Raider. That's no secret that I'm a big Tomb Raider fan, and loved the reboot from 2013. And yeah, looks like this one's going to be super cool. It's just taking what worked well last game, and it's an even bigger experience. We're traveling to more places around the world, and they're actually building out the tomb raiding aspect of the game.
Which I'm really happy they finally did.
Yeah.
And like they've shown so much like little bits and pieces, but like the idea of like a tomb like is like they were so like few and far between the first game.
Yeah.
They were just like little puzzles for side quests basically.
So we were saying, they showed the game at E3 and it was just like a climbing action sequence. And then when they showed it again here, it's just this combat sequence. And I asked him, why don't you show off the tombs? That's what people want to see. And his answer was great. It's like the tombs are puzzle based. So if we show that, it's basically spoilers.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna know how to beat the tomb.
Yeah.
Really
And so
smart.
like I have less of a problem with this gameplay we're watching right now than I did with the climbing thing they
climbing
showed.
stuff?
Yeah.
'Cause I, like,
Yeah.
And I don't say this in a positive way. Like I couldn't tell it was gameplay. And like the game's beautiful, but it's like I mean it in like there was no HUD. There was
It
no
was
like
really linear too.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
felt like very much like the first part of Uncharted 2.
Yes,
and it's
totally.
like that's really good, sort of, kind of, but like this has much more kind of like a Far Cry vibe, where it's like you can get creative and it's kind of more of a a wide experimental kind of.
And those are my favorite parts
Playfield.
of the first game.
Yeah, but like the puzzle, like the Tomb Raider puzzle, like the literal tomb raiding is that's huge.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my favorite part of the first game as well, is like finding those old World War II bunkers that you go in and
There's also this cool new mechanic. She can learn foreign languages. It's a skill. It's like you'll go into a tomb and there'll be like Greek written on the wall and she can't read it. But if you like examine your surroundings, you'll find artifacts that raise your
I love
foreign
the idea of
language
her
skill.
being this like incredible like savant who
Yeah,
learned languages in like a
It's
day.
autistic and she can just absorb these languages. Yeah, and then when you can finally read the Greek etchings, they'll point you to like treasure around there.
Interesting.
So that's cool. Yep, super stoked for Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's out November 10th. Andrew, what's your favorite game that you saw?
So we're going in order here, yeah. We're just
Yep, I mean, yeah.
For me, like it was actually surprising because I haven't played a Lego game in a while, but Lego Dimensions, Krupa and I played it, and it was really cool, if only because it mixes so many different universes, but it's like the amount of love and care that goes into it, like the amount of fan service in that game is completely insane. Like, so we were playing as the 12th Doctor from Doctor Who, and Krupa fell off an edge and died and respawned as a different Doctor from the Doctor Who series.
man.
okay.
And
That's pretty
really
good.
cool.
Also, if you enter the TARDIS as any of the Doctors, the aesthetic of the inside, and like they didn't have to do this, but the entire aesthetic of the inside of the TARDIS will change to match the Doctor that you're playing as well as the music. So it's like this like insane, like Doctor Who fans have like this cool little like, it's almost like an Easter egg. Like there's no attention drawn to it, but you've like all of this like love and care for that. And there's little things like we were on the Wizard of Oz level and they were like, oh, like walk off the edge. And so we fell off the edge of the world and you fall all the way down and you're in Kansas and there's a fully built Kansas underneath the Wizard of Oz level where there's like tornadoes and like all this stuff.
Fully built
like,
Kansas.
Fully built Kansas.
Kansas is
you can
fully
go to your
operational.
child's
I'll be the judge.
One-to-one recreation in Lego bricks.
But it's just really cool. The Gav was telling us that the Scooby-Doo level, no matter who you're playing as, that world is cel-shaded. So when you go into that world, whether the DeLorean or whatever it is, you enter that world and everything becomes cel-shaded and it matches the art style.
Incredible.
Yeah, and there's just like really cool things like that. And then I wrote about Portal as well. The Portal world technically takes place after the events of Portal 2.
Right.
And it's like it's like a tongue-in-cheek like Lego story written by Traveler's Tales, not by Valve, but Valve approved these things. And I don't know, I think this game is really, really interesting. And the interesting part of it is that these franchises like aren't really for kids, like Ghostbusters and all they're like no kid still watches
Back to the
Scooby-Doo.
Future.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're for us, which is really interesting.
When I first heard about this, it just seemed like such a random collection of licenses, right?
Yeah, and that was my impression too. But after seeing it, and I kind of get it more. Also, like the toy to life things are really smart because they're literal Legos. So the base is all that matters, and then the top of it you can just build anything onto. So there's a point in the game where like we had the Batmobile, and it was like, oh, upgrade the Batmobile, and then it like gives you instructions to flip through to literally build bricks onto your Batmobile.
You know how annoying it is when your friend takes your game and puts it in a different game box, like just swaps it out. Now you can do that with Lego figurines. They're like, oh, I need Doc Brown right now, and it's like one of the Ghostbusters. And like, stop coming to my house.
Brandon, favorite game of the show?
Man, there's been a lot of good stuff, but I think definitely my favorite game of the show was Scalebound. It looks goofy and actiony and amazing, and the scale of it, no pun intended, is just. It blows. It's everything that I wanted as a kid playing JRPGs, right? It's just you and a dragon, and you get to go wreck stuff, and then you get to customize my dragon and build him up, and I can tell him to breathe fireballs, and the whole thing just like struck a really sort of nostalgic chord for me. At the same time, I think it's really sort of kind of stretching what we've seen current gen capable of right now. I think this we were having a conversation about this earlier. There were a few games this year where I saw it and I was like, oh wow, this is
starting to feel like this
is what current
the
gen
next
is.
generation. Yeah.
And I mean, giant monsters.
Yeah,
you know,
this
like,
really appeals to the kaiju fan.
yeah.
Like I love this Mantis thing. It's really
And
cool.
we were talking to the developers, and the whole time I just want to ask them, like, how many big monsters are there going to be? I want to know how many big monsters there are.
They hate those questions. Like,
I know.
How many,
That's why
I
didn't ask it, but I'm just like, okay, a mantis. Is there a big spider? I'm sure there's a big spider.
Yeah, this combat here, like with the jumping stuff,
Yeah,
like
that looks really cool, right?
it feels like an anime version of like Dragon's Dogma. I feel like.
Yeah, that's
actually
mounting someone.
That's a really good point.
Just getting up there and stabbing him in the neck.
But
that's crazy.
This is what I'm really excited for. Is like you have to work in tandem with your AI dragon, and the AI appears actually really, really intelligent as far as its priorities and what it does. And I love how the monster is prioritizing the giant dragon rather than the little dude, right? Like it's just all these little touches that make me excited for what this world has got in store.
Andrew, how are you feeling about this one?
I think it looks really cool. I mean, I agree. I want to see more of it because it's like a first look thing. It doesn't really tell me like that much about what the moment to moment is, but yeah, like this part of it, I think looks incredible.
I think you should stay tuned to IGN all month long.
It's funny you should mention it's a first look.
I'm really hoping that the main dude isn't super annoying.
Yeah,
they seem like they might be super
like
annoying.
he's got some Beats by Dre's, and he seems a little bit cocky in that kind of like.
So that's the thing is like he's a kid from our time that gets sucked into this fantasy world, right? And so he's very much got the cocky modern day attitude going on.
Yeah, he reminds me of Dante from like DMC.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Max, how about you?
Yeah. So Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Like I love Metal Gear. Pretty much favorite series. This is a game we've been hearing about it for so long, and I've been really pretty vocal about how I'm not a fan of games that have like this long tail of like promotion behind them. We are so close. Like this game comes out like this beginning of next month. Like really, we're really close to it. We get to have our hands on it really soon, and I'm impressed with how much they've managed to kind of just hold back on certain information. This is like the kind of the last volley of of reveals, and they are showing off some kind of like end game items you get, and it's like you have This is the whole thing where you can defend your base, and like this isn't the multiplayer segment. Like this isn't Metal Gear Online. This is like basically you make your own little clubhouse, and then dudes break into it, and you have to fight them off. So like that mechanic they have in like Far Cry 4, where you're like, yeah, you have a base now, and then periodically people will be like, your base is under attack, and you're like, jeepers creepers, I have to go fight some dudes. In this case, it actually you actually care because you've been building this, like you've been like really just like fleshing it out. You can have theoretically, I think I asked this.
I have no idea what this game is
about. What the hell is that? That is the upgraded version of the Fulton retrieval system, which is normally balloons. They upgraded the balloons into a wormhole because this is a Metal Gear game, and we might have forgotten that Metal Gear is frequently really insane. And they've kind of been like they've been keeping on the deal. Like I mean, Ground Zero was really like mechanically really sound, visually beautiful. In terms of all the Metal Gear kind of bits and pieces I was hoping for, like you couldn't get in a cardboard box in that. And I was like, this better not be indicative of what the Phantom Pain is. And the Phantom Pain, from what we're seeing here, is like this is like a literal sandbox. You can literally summon sand. You can hack weather and make sand show up, and then people can't see you, and it probably gets in their underpants. I don't know. I'm just like, I want this. Like, I love Metal Gear because like the story's like really weird and cool and all over the place. But like, you also have like crazy purple knockout gas, and
I think that's what it is. It's like the Phantom Pain was that sort of narrative. Hey, we are taking care of the series. You are going to get a very cinematic, beautiful game story to play through. And this, like what we've seen at Gamescom, is like, no, it's still a Metal game. A Metal Gear game.
And I'm not a Metal Gear guy at all. Like I've never beaten a Metal Gear game. I am totally I tried to play Sons of Liberty, and I was like, I'm way too lost. But this actually like seems kind of accessible, and it looks so fun and goofy that I kind of want to just try playing it. And I'm sure it's like an awful jumping on point for the story, but like just mechanically, it just looks so fun.
I don't think there's a good jumping on point for the story.
Yeah, I guess that's
it's really you kind of had to be here from.
Yeah.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1 was the third game in the series, and the second one never came out in America. So like, we've literally never been completely on board.
Yeah, this is only a couple weeks away now. It'll be really interesting to see how this turns out, how it performs, because it's been such a long time coming, and there's been so much controversy.
I remember covering their reveal in 2011, like when it was just the Phantom Pain. It was like a faux Metal Gear game. And then you wrote the news story at GDC when they finally, like, even though everyone obviously knew by that point, when they finally confirmed that it was Metal Gear.
Did I?
I believe so. Yeah.
Memories. So, Phantom Pain.
There you go. Yoshi, how about you? What was your favorite game that you saw at the show? No. So what do you think, looking ahead at the rest of the year, how does the rest of the year, like the video game landscape, look to you guys?
Getting really nervous that I haven't seen more Persona 5. Starting to think that's not a 2015 game.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I were a betting man, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't.
I mean, obviously at this point I agree. It's that is like, assuming it is somehow still this year, that is the game I want more than anything. But we'll see.
I'm honestly kind of exhausted by all the open world games. Like I love them. I think they're really cool, but it's also like I haven't finished Arkham Knight. I haven't finished Witcher 3. Like Metal Gear comes out in a month.
In terms of open world, Metal Gear, Mad Max, Assassin's Creed, Fallout, Just Cause, Tomb Raider, Hitman.
Yeah,
this is all just this year.
And then it's not like there's another year wait for that. There's this kind of like
then
holiday season part 2, which happens in the great new video game season, which is Valentine's Day. So around February,
March is
theoretically Uncharted somewhere in there, and it's gonna get real busy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot left this year.
What a great problem to have, though.
Yeah, no,
that's awesome. We got games now. Finally, there was like 2014 was. There are always some great games that come out, but 2014 felt pretty dry.
This finally feels like that year where it's like whatever 2007 or whatever those like banner years for each generation. Like this finally feels like like if Battlefront is as good as we think it is, if Fallout is, if Metal Gear is, like this is finally that like first like really good fall. So
that's true.
We'll see what happens.
So it's like long enough for developers to finally start coming into their own. As far as
well, also to not have to make I mean, Metal Gear weirdly does have a last gen version, but like in general, like most of these games don't have to worry about like, we have to make it work on 360 as well, and like there's like this weird scaled down version.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that is a wrap for us from Gamescom here in Germany. Thank you for hanging out with us all week, checking out all these cool games. For more on all these games, you can stay tuned to IGN for the rest of the year. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Max. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.